So we've been working Mojo in this one direction for 6 or 7 minutes now. I've only been in stopping. Ordinarily, we just go ahead and transition and go back to the other way. You notice his body language a lot is kind of starting to relax, but if he'll do pretty much through the form, yep. He's kind of lost most of it. You want to keep your feet moving just a little bit faster than what he's doing right now. And that nose to the ground, that is absolutely not allowed. If they want to stick that nose to the ground while they're going around there, they're not paying attention to you. They're paying attention to whatever's on the ground. So they need to get up and get their feet moving just a little bit faster to get their mind on what you're asking them to do and not what they want to do. A point that a lot of times that's a submissive behavior in a horse to put their head down like that, but for me it's an undesirable behavior. I want them to keep their head midline and kind of natural in the up position. If you're in the saddle, you know, if they're used to when they submit to putting that nose on the ground, they're going to be putting that nose on the ground while you're in the saddle. So to me it's an undesirable trait. When I ask them to move their feet forward, and I want them to move forward with head up.
I agree with that also. He has a tendency to want to travel with his nose on the ground after a little while. But just get after him a little bit.
Here, something like that right there. Just want to bring him in to show that he's not in any way too tired or even winded. His nostrils are pretty normal. He's not breathing hard. We've just started scratching the surface of his energy levels. You know, after 10 or 12 minutes of working in here. Like I say, ordinarily we'd just send him back around the other way. That's before we ever stopped and let him stop his feet to begin with. But just want you to see that just a pretty good amount of little work right there. It hasn't affected him one bit. He's in very good shape. And can work his round pin at a slow pace just a long time. I only ask him to move just pretty fast if he's doing something undesirable. And the rest of the time it's just the length. You've got to work them in there, and I prefer the slow work, slow and long work. You got to get their feet moving around there a little bit to get their heart rate and stuff up, and to build muscle on them. Because in this round pin is where you build your trail riding stamina. You know, it's right here in this round pin is where it begins. You got to get their muscles in shape to be able to work climbing the trails and carrying us and everything like that over the trails. We're going to get him back going again, then we're going to start transitioning him from left to right and start transitioning a little bit from a fast gait to a slow gait. And I'm going to ask him to go right back the way we were going and start transitioning. There you go. See, I'm all on the wrong side to do this. Just get your horse there again. Get your horse set up to where he can make the right move. You see that little hop that went around there when he first went around? That's a good sign that he's still got quite a bit of energy left. When that energy's drained out of him, he doesn't hop or anything like that. He goes around there with just head level and just about as good as any horse does. If you ever give a command like I just did, I asked him to walk, he didn't listen. Get them feet moving just a little bit faster to show him that next time you ask that he needs to listen, or he's probably just a little bit harder.
If he doesn't do that the first time, he's not ready yet.
And that's okay if he doesn't listen 2 or 3 times in a row. Just keep him working around there and just keep asking, and eventually he will. And that's just what the round pin is about. It's just getting that energy out of them to where they want to listen every time to something you say instead of just when they want to. That's the whole point, is getting them to listen every time. transition him down to a walk, just get him to slow his pace and then ask him to come around and change direction. And you notice how he kind of almost want to go back the same way he was going. And there again, it's not to rush your horse or just make it plain and clear what you're asking him to do, and try to give him no other choice probably to do anything else but what you've asked him to do. I just kind of stepped in front of him about a half a step and made a motion with the whip, and just basically going around the way I want him to is the best idea.
If they consistently don't listen when you ask them to walk, and you tell them to go again, send them around a good 10 minutes, and then ask them again. You know, don't ask them too soon before they're ready. Just work them a pretty good bit before you ask them again, if you have to. It's usually a little sign of releasing some energy. Sneezing. And I've been telling them to walk from a trot or a gait, and they should just come right down to it. If they don't, they're not ready yet. And I say easy too, it kind of to try to get them to just slow down even more from a walk, just a really slow walk.
If it goes around there and starts doing pretty good, you can stop him, let him have just a little blow. You can take a little break. It's not going to hurt anything, just don't think you're done yet. You know, just because he listened a few times around there and transitioned a couple of times good, he knows all this stuff. So, you know, it's not going to take long before he does start listening. But you got to watch for signs like a little hop there. And when you let him sit there, a good indicator would be when you let him sit there and rest and absorb everything for a minute. When you ask him to get back going again, pay real close attention to his behavior then. That'll tell you a lot about his energy levels, is when you get him back going after a little rest.
Now's a good time to brush them or pick up their feet a little bit.
It is. It's a good time to start on all that stuff. And even if he doesn't make a mistake in it, he still needs to work going around, you know, at a pretty decent pace. And I like to, once he starts getting a little bit of that energy run off there, as you notice a few times he was going around here just hitting in gear, hitting a gate out there, a little flat walk. That's what I like to send him around after, you know, he's getting a little energy off, is the transition between that flat walk and just a dog walk. If we had a little bigger round pen, there'd be a canter thrown in there as well. But that little flat walk right there is your ultimate trail gear. You know, the more you can cultivate that right there, the more that you can ride long, long distances and not be roughed up.